It is Thursday, the second day of June, 2022. Yesterday was the annual, oh my God, it's already June. Ha 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 ha. Geez, this year has just flown by. Am I right? Day. Yes, once again, the steady progression of time, one of the very few things that is a guarantee in life, continued. This is also the unofficial start of summer, June 1. In my mind, it is. Even though I haven't been in grade schools for oof, 27 years. Fuck, there's that progression of time again, huh? June still feels like a big deal. Change is afoot. Um, the season is getting warmer. This that, and even though as I record this, it's like 55 degrees outside. Um, but as I say, change is afoot. That word, there's your vocab word of the day. Afoot. Great word. It's a new start, right? Or anus tart if you're a fan of Arrested Development. Maybe it's not, but it still feels like something. I guess to me, I'm just not sure what. I've never really been sure, but it was all these. It was always the anticipation of something that's about to change, and why my brain still works um, in a in a school at a grade school calendar mindset is kind of weird. But yeah, I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean. Certainly, you know, yeah. What am I totally lost my fucking place. They say this is how we, you write out the open. Okay, this is what you're gonna do, Dave. You're gonna write this out. And you're gonna read this, and it's gonna be somewhat interesting, and it's gonna get people hooked and interested in staying throughout the whole show. And what do? You write something completely wrong that you totally fuck it up. Um, but in regards to something new, this particular episode isn't because I'm again without a guest. I had one lined up, okay, and they basically thought better of it. So I don't know. I'm clearly barking up the wrong trees here, which is kind of funny. And I've said this multiple times, but um, not sure where I'm really going with all this, to be honest. But I guess this is what happens when you have a show without any actual focus. There's a reason I'm not surprised that I only have 4 listeners. Also, mutant sharks are a thing now. Yeah, NASA says that there were sharks living in an underwater volcano that erupted last week. What the fuck? What the fuck? All that and more on episode number 120. It's right here, right now, on Complaints and Observations.
Still, the most less than average podcast on the internet. With a host who's the smartest person in the room when he's the only one there. A continuing odyssey into mediocrity. Guaranteed to make you question your life choices and your own sanity. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
Thank you, Aaron Rodgers, for that little drop. Always appreciative. You see Aaron Rodgers Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Actually, by the time you listen to this, it'll be over. Oh man, I'm off to a fucking great start. This is what happens when your day's progressing, and then you're like, oh wait, I have to do this stupid fucking podcast thing because I just refuse to stop. I refuse to stop doing it. For a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to be a quitter. I've quit at everything else, and I've managed to keep this going for 2+ years. So onward. Two, I do enjoy it still, so I'm not going to stop. But still, it's very questionable. Like last week's episode, for example, was absolute dog shit. It was terrible. I sounded like dog shit. I still kind of sound like dog shit, but not nearly as bad as I did last week. Still very mucusy and phlegmy, so that sounded gross, huh? I'm sure it did, but I don't care. But yeah. Anywho, so how are you? How have you been? Things are good, I hope. Yeah, terrific. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Even though I know you didn't, it's cool. What is going on in the world right now? A lot of stuff. Um, what I don't want to do though is I don't want to talk about like guns and school shootings and shit like that. I don't one because it's not really it's not my place, and I'll tell you why. One, I don't have children, so it doesn't affect me in a way that it would probably affect those that do have children. Two, I am not the kind of person who should be giving those kinds of opinions, mainly because I'm not smart enough, and I don't think I'm, informed enough. Right? What I think I do know is that it's fucking stupid that people send their children to school in some parts of this country, knowing full well that anybody can just go and get a gun and walk into a school. So, but then please enlighten me as to how a lunch lady, librarian, or teacher, with whatever caliber gun that they particularly might be emboldened to carry, is going to stop somebody with a um, not just a weapon, but with the mindset to cause destruction, if you will. So I need to be I need to be more enlightened on that, and what exactly Ted Cruz and his ilk are going to talk to the American people about hardening schools, which is the most absurd thing I think I've ever heard in my life. Ted Cruz wants to make schools into essentially prisons, one way in, one way out, massive fire traps. So I mean that's the thing. You're gonna have a school that's gonna end up, built this way, or in the mold of Raphael Cruz. There'll be a fire and a bunch of kids will die in a fire. And then it's okay, now what? Now it's a new thing. Now it's another thing to worry about when you send your children to school, which is just asinine. God, it makes me fucking very angry. And I don't have kids and don't really care for them for the most part. But man, oh man, I just don't understand. Like, where where is the logic behind this? Why are parents mad about masks and potentially having their little white children told about black people? Why are they so angry about shit like that? But the possibility of somebody walking through the front door and literally, uh, you know, destroying their children with a weapon apparently is in some minds not the biggest problem. I don't get it. Baffling. Anyways, I said I'm not going to talk about it, but there, I just talked about it. And I'm sure now you're all dumber for having listened. So we're going to talk about something even dumber to start the show. Sports. That's right. Sports. Yay. The Boston Celtics are in the NBA Finals. Man. The NBA Finals. And I said last week that I thought that they would win the series in Game 6. They didn't. They blew it. They blew it. And then they almost blew it in Game 7. But they didn't. They persevered. They held on. They let Marcus Smart shoot the ball way too fucking much. And it almost cost them. But thankfully, Marcus Smart hit 2 free throws. Which is, here's the thing, okay? If I'm Ime Udoka and I'm seeing Marcus Smart lead the team in shots, and you have a first-team All-NBA player on your roster, something's not right. I understand that Tatum's going to be double-teamed, but the problem is when everyone else but Marcus Smart is standing around and just watching Tatum try to pass out of said double team, it's a problem. And I've been saying this for an entire week now. One of the first things that you're taught when you're taught basketball is to move without the basketball. The idea is to get into an open space so that you're open to receive a pass. Now, the only one in the Celtics that seems to understand this very basic concept is the last guy that you want shooting 5 times in a row to end a game. I don't understand it. When you have another all-star on your team who's just standing there watching Tatum struggle to get a pass away in the double team. He's not that great in the double team. He's not, let's be honest. But if he's passing the ball to people other than Marcus Smart, even if Smart is the only one that gets the ball, his directive should be pass the ball to Jaylen Brown. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult. Or just move the ball around to find somebody else is open, because there is going to be someone else open now. Tatum should eventually work himself open. Unless he's going to continue to be double teamed, then that's just poor defense. But Marcus Smart can shoot free throws, so he should not be shooting threes. He should be taking the ball, going into the lane, getting fouled. And especially in this coming series where who's going to be on him? Is Curry going to... I don't know. But you figure it's going to be a guard that's going to be defending him, so it's going to be Curry or Poole. I don't think Klay Thompson is I'm not sure. I don't really know his particular position. But if it's Klay Thompson or Steph Curry, then that's what Smart should be doing, taking the ball to the hoop and drawing contact. Because there's going to be 50 billion fouls. It's the fucking NBA. That's all these guys do is call fouls. Foul after foul after foul after foul after foul after foul after foul. It's fucking awful. Was it Game 6 or Game 7? One of the two was they averaged more than one foul per minute in the game, which is, if you're Adam Silver and you see this stat, how do you not pick up the phone and whoever those officials were and say, you're never working another game if you do that again? Because it's fucking stupid. You have to be better about knowing when these guys are flopping all over the floor. Kyle Lowry single-handedly is trying to ruin the NBA. His fucking fat ass flopped so many times. And people are going to complain about Marcus Smart. Get fucking bent. Kyle Lowry is a fucking actor. He's barely a basketball player. Gross. I'm looking forward to the series if I can stay awake, because all these fucking games are going to start at 9 o'clock. Why are we catering to the West Coast? I don't understand. Makes no sense to me, but it's never made sense to me, so here we are. I think they are evenly matched. I can see this going 6 or 7 games. I can see either team winning. I do think the Warriors are going to win, and it's not because I want them to win. No, obviously I don't. I want the Celtics to win. But I think they'll win. I think 7-game series, 7 close games. Golden State wins the series simply because they have one more game at home. That's the difference, I think, in my mind. And because I'm not certain how effective Bob Williams is going to be. He's hurt. He's got a boo-boo on his knee. So who knows how much he's going to play. I saw a picture the other day of Gerald Henderson in the 1982 playoffs. He was wearing a brace around his neck supporting his jaw. And it looked very awkward. But his jaw was broken. He had some kind of awkward brace on and kept playing. They're not built like Gerald Henderson anymore. And what a fucking old man thing to say, huh? Yeesh. At the same time, I realized the other day that this particular season is the first time in my life that I'm able to count on the number of baseball games that I've watched on one hand. and 2 of those have come this week. I have grown so apathetic toward baseball, it's ridiculous. It's gotten far too slow. The 3 true outcomes, um, strikeout, walk, home run, are boring. It's boring. And the Red Sox operating like a small market club when they should be outspending just about everyone is also annoying. The last problem is entirely self-inflicted for a number of different reasons, and part of it is because they threw around stupid contracts when they shouldn't have thrown around stupid contracts. Like Chris Sale should not have been extended to that extent. He's making an obscene amount of money. But that's neither. The money thing, I try not to get all fucking hung up on the Red Sox and money. It's not my money. Why do I fucking care? It doesn't. But when it prohibits them from spending money to bring better players in, then it becomes a problem. When they spend money on garbage, if you look at their pitching staff right now, honestly, it's ghastly. I don't care what the numbers say. None of these things are. They don't have a horse. They have one horse. They have Evaldi, but again, the majority of his joints are held together with fucking string. So it's just a matter of time before something else snaps. But you have a bunch of guys that are just guys. There's nothing there. It's like, oh, well, Michael Walker's pitching good. Michael Walker? Michael Walker is our number 2 pitcher. Well, that's going to instill fear in lineups across baseball. There's nothing that the Yankees fear more than looking at the lineup card and seeing the name Michael Walker. Ooh. The Trevor Story thing continues to piss me off, okay? But I saw a stat on Twitter the other day that I'm gonna give you some not nerd shit. They're all good stats, but whatever. Trevor Story in wins. When the Red Sox have won, he's hitting .273. His OPS is .942, which is ridiculous. 8 bombs, 30 runs batted in, 23 strikeouts in 90 plate appearances. Doesn't give the number of walks there, which I would be interested in as well. Trevor Story in games that the Red Sox have lost. He's hitting .176. His OPS is .576. 1 home run, 7 runs batted in, 37 Ks, and 104 plate appearances. What the fuck, buddy? What are you doing? But last week, everyone was telling me that he's the best fucking baseball player on earth. Not everybody should say that. Some people. So there's your sports talk, huh? Wasn't it great? No, nobody wants to hear anybody talk about sports. I shouldn't say that. That's why, the biggest rated radio show in the country happens to be a sports radio program right here in Boston, Mass, with 2 guys who are annoying as fuck. What can you do? More to talk about. Stick around. So this past weekend was the other unofficial start of summer, Memorial Day weekend. Usually a good time. Usually a time to gather with friends, family, foes, fucking other F word things. And there's usually a barbecue or a cookout or a, I don't know, what else would you call it? Barbecue, cookout, something else? I don't know. Anyhow, so I wanted to, and I was thinking about this when I was invited to a friend's house, which was supposed to feature grilled food. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because the grill didn't work. But I was reading comments from somebody else on, might have been Instagram, complaining about the service, if you will, or the setup for their particular cookout. And it got me thinking. There should be rules in place for Memorial Day cookouts or just cookouts in general. Okay? So, rules for cookouts. This is going to be it's going to be stupid, but the kind of thing that I find unbelievably entertaining and enjoyable. I'm trying to do 8 things at once while I'm talking about this, so don't mind me. Uh, here we go. Okay. Anyways, yeah, stupid David. Rules for adults. Now, rules are going to be different for kids themselves. So my assumption is if you have a very smart child who is cognizant of cookouts and the structure of things and how things are supposed to go, their rules might be slightly different than mine. However, these rules are for adults. All right. Listen close, okay? Because this is hard and fast, and it's not just Memorial Day. It's probably from Memorial Day to Labor Day. These are the complaints and observations rules for any outdoor weekend gathering. That's fucking stupid. Rule number 1, no ketchup on hot dogs. Children only. If you want to have an argument with me about what belongs on a hot dog, I'm willing to have that conversation. However, nowhere in that conversation will it include ketchup. This is not a knock on ketchup because I happen to like it on a number of different things. French fries, burgers, and that's probably it. Oh, cold meatloaf sandwiches. Whew, damn. Love them. But ketchup does not belong on a hot dog. If you are an adult, meaning I'm going to say over the age of 16, because hot dog adulthood is much different than actual adulthood. Great band name, Hot Dog Adulthood. Whew, that's fire. You should, if you got a hot dog and you go to put ketchup on it, what you should do is remind yourself that ketchup does not belong on a hot dog when you're over the age of 16. So you put the ketchup down and eat that hot dog plain. Plain. However, what you should be doing is putting all kinds of shit on it. Mustard, relish, onion. However, that onion that needs to be fresh. Onion needs to be fresh. No, I mean, you're gonna have to fucking buy it at the store that day, slice it before you serve it. And make sure that your onion is kept in a fucking airtight container because there's nothing worse than eating bad onions and getting people sick. It happens. It's happened to me. It's disgusting. Nobody wants that. Then you can add other kinds of condiments on there. You can go Chicago dog style with like a pickle, a pepper, celery salt. Whew. Celery salt? Oh, let's go. However, rule number 1, no ketchup on hot dogs. Children only. Rule number 2, true? Rule number 2, any kind of alcoholic beverage is acceptable, but it must be cold. This is very easy, very simple. There's, nobody's going to be drinking a fucking hot toddy in the middle of July. So it's easy. This is fine. Any kind of alcoholic beverage is 100% acceptable if it is cold. Unless you're drinking scotch, in which case you should be drinking that neat. But that's another conversation for another day. Number 3, children must be able to entertain themselves. Otherwise, you stay home. Or you should be ready to compensate the person who is chaperoning the herd. I think this should be fairly self-explanatory, okay? Obviously, if your children are old enough to If your children are old enough to shit on their own, they should be able to entertain themselves in a setting at a barbecue or a cookout. If they can't, or if you're not prepared to be the person who is chaperoning the herd, you should probably decline the invitation. It's I wrote all these down, and as I'm reading them, boy, I sound like such a fucking asshole. But every one of these things is always going to be one parent. So let's I'm trying to think. All right, so you have like you invite somebody like a tertiary acquaintance, right? Maybe it's a work person. You invite them to the barbecue. They have children, and so it's let's say you work with the guy, right, and he brings his wife or mother of their child. I'm not here to pass judgment. And then she basically is sort of standing guard with their child, and then by default, all of the other children. So now, the parents of all those other children, they should be putting money in a hat to give to the person who's watching all these kids. They should be compensated for their time. What a wild concept. Or here's another idea. Have a fenced-in area that can act as a fucking corral for these children. It's bad. Rule number 4: the host is on the grill unless the host specifically requests someone else to do it. The host is having the party. Now, the host in this case could be the pair, the husband, wife, 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 husband, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend, whatever. It's Pride Month. Suck it up. The host is on the grill. Now, there are going to be instances where, somebody that they've invited is a world-class chef or a world-class pitmaster and wants to display their skills, or is willing to take on this role. What you can't have is the person who's going to like stand over the grill and watch and like critique or offer tips. Nobody gives a fuck about what you do at home. Person who hasn't been asked to stand here and give tips and critique. Okay? You were invited to come and enjoy the company and then the food that the host is going to provide. If you've brought a dish from home, terrific. Put it on the fucking table and shut up. No one cares what you do with your grill or your cookouts. No one cares. Rule number 5. You can certainly ask for your burger or your in this let's say burger or steak tips. Let's do that. To be cooked a certain way. But rest assured, everyone's will be cooked however the guy on the grill wants it done. If you go to a fucking cookout and you ask for your burger to be medium rare or whatever, like what fucking planet are you on? You don't get to do that at somebody else's fucking house. You don't get to do that. Quite frankly, what should be done is you should almost expect a medium well meat experience. Because, these people are not professional chefs usually. Most hosts that are grilling are not professional chefs. No matter how many times they grill burgers or steak or whatever on a grill, you should expect chicken to be overcooked because you just don't know. So please don't request because it's very unbecoming. It's probably another way to put it. It's very unbecoming. And finally, rule number 6, 1 or 2 p.m. start times only. Anything earlier than that is just ridiculous. Not enough time for the host. And if they set the time, then they're stupid. They're just setting themselves up for failure, or they're setting themselves up to be nodding off at 6 p.m. because they probably had to get up early to get shit started or to get shit set up. So it's not good. Anything later, now you're asking for a very late night. You're asking for people to be on your property, in your house, for way too long and way too late. And what you want it to be a nice amount of time so that eventually people get tired and shove off. You don't want to be that person who is telling people to get the fuck out. Some people don't mind doing that. I'm for one, I don't give a shit. I have no qualms about telling people to fucking leave. I don't care. But if you're hesitant to do that, then you can't start later than 2 o'clock. If you try to get away with a 3 or a 4, it ain't gonna fly because you're gonna get stuck with people at your house, getting close to midnight. You figure you figure on an 8-hour max. Maybe not max, but you figure on an 8-hour event. I mean, if there's stuff going on in the evening, like let's say there's a basketball game or something at 9 o'clock. You think maybe, all right, some people are going to stick around, whatever. That's what you're thinking. So if you start these things at 4 o'clock and now you're asking people to be at your house at midnight, like, no, you don't want that. So if you start at 1, maybe people will be like, all right, well, if I got to get home to watch for the start of the game, I'll see you later. So now it's an 8-hour commitment, 8 hours max time frame. Oh man, boy, those are hard and fast rules, okay? And at least they should be. And don't worry about being an asshole here, okay? Because honestly, who cares? It's your house. If you invite people over and they think you're an asshole, even better, then you won't have to do it ever again. It could be a one and done kind of a thing. People know, no, fucking Dave, he's a prick. I hate going over his house for cookouts. He sucks. He's a shitty host. Oh, that's so great. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I don't want to be an asshole, but sometimes it just happens. What can you do? So there you go. The rules for summer cookout / barbecue for adults. Hard and fast rules. That's right. All right, I am mostly done being an asshole. Mostly. Not entirely. So, I've mentioned on the show how mechanically stupid I am, for the lack of a better term. I have trouble putting shit together. Always have. Probably one of the things that was not really handed down to me genetically. My grandfather was a dynamite mechanic. He was a tank mechanic in World War II, and he used those skills to fix cars literally until the day that he died. I did not inherit that gene. My brother got that one. I got I don't know what I got. I got something. I just don't know what. So last week, we bought a deck box to put by the pool because the shed that we own that I tried to put together last year is just now complete and utter trash. Like, I'm going to have to disassemble it and throw it all away. I would have been better off taking the money that we spent on it and flushing it down the toilet. So there's that. But I managed to put the deck box together because honestly, this thing was the most idiot-proof thing that I've ever attempted to put together in my life. Entirely and totally idiot-proof. It was astonishing how fucking idiot-proof that it really was. So I was proud. I was like, okay, I managed to put this together and not completely fuck it up. That's good. Terrific. Grand. Great. Well, then there was an IKEA bookcase that I've been eyeing for a while because I need some space, some shelf space here in the broadcast palace to display all of the various crap that I own, which is part of the reason why I'm in this shed. Um, and so the thing was finally available, so I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go get it. I go and buy it, and yesterday, Tuesday, was the day to put it together. If you're at all familiar with IKEA and their process, you know that everything that they sell is flat packed. And that the idea is that it's done that way to reduce costs and to make warehousing easier and to make shipping easier. This, that, and the other. The quality of the product remains. It's a little meh. I would say that the press board, particle board, whatever you want to call it, has improved slightly over the years. I mean, I remember the first one I bought when this one out here in Stoughton, Massachusetts, first opened. I mean, it was garbage. That thing was just like, it was a bookcase that, though it managed to last quite a while, I managed to hold on to that fucking thing for a solid decade and moved it a couple times, but it was falling apart consistently. So this thing that I got this time, bookcase with a couple drawers. What a terrible word. Drawers at the bottom. Went and picked it up. Super easy pickup. I don't know if you've ever done the click. It's like click it and pick it, or whatever it is that they call it. I don't know. But basically, you order it online. You go and you pick it up. Super easy. Like, you don't even have to go into the store. You don't even have to go like into the main parking lot. It's its own separate thing. If you know what you're getting at IKEA, this is literally the only way you should be doing it, because going inside to IKEA, not only will you get overwhelmed, you will spend 10 times the amount of money that you wanted to spend, and you'll spend 10 times the amount of time that you wanted to spend in that store. So forget it. This is the way to go. Thankfully, I wrote down what I wanted, knew what I wanted, and that way I waited weeks. I don't even know if I mentioned the IKEA trip when I went to look for this fucking thing. Didn't have it and ended up with a couple of bar stools that I almost bought and had to put together. But someone had bought them, returned them, and they were for sale. I got them assembled and they were $20 cheaper. So win-win for David. So I've got this thing. Long, flat pack, heavy. These boxes, well, I shouldn't say both of them, but one of them was fucking heavy, and it's probably heavy because it was the sides, so it was long and awkward and heavy. I get it into the shed, and I get it unassembled. I grab the directions, and let me tell you something, okay? I'm convinced that these fucking Swedes love to fuck with the entire planet. All right. They print these directions, or like the warnings for the directions. The directions are in such a manner, if you're not familiar, that it's just graphics. There's no language in it, and there's no language on the actual parts either. So it's a real fucking guessing game. But basically, they love to fuck with the whole planet. They print the directions in 36 fucking languages. 36. All the while, they're like, yeah, we're not labeling shit. Figure it the fuck out. So, I mean, I would say I spent about 3 hours putting this fucking thing together. And I would venture a guess that half of that was just trying to figure out the parts. Because if you don't lay out the parts in the correct way, you're fucked. There was 2 times where I had to like disassemble this fucking thing to turn a part around because it wasn't in the correct direction. And this kind of goes back to what I said before when it comes to being mechanically stupid. Some people will say, "Well, what the fuck, dude? You're a fucking idiot." Blah blah blah. All right, fine, whatever. I'm an idiot. How many times have I admitted that on this program? I'm stupid. I'm dumb as rocks. And when it comes to putting things together, it's even worse. So it was a fucking challenge and it was a fight. By the time I was done, my back was killing me, my hips were killing me, and it's from from like sitting and kneeling on the fucking shitty broadcast palace floor, being fat, mostly from being fat. But I got it together, and I'm very excited. It came out good, and I say that because there's a couple of pieces there that are a little subject, but for the most part, I would say it's 98% built as it should be built. I have a couple of pieces that are like, okay, why do I still have this? You know what I mean? They don't, because they don't tell you if they've included extra pieces, extra screws, extra weird wood plug thingies. But I'm feeling good about my mechanical aptitude after putting together two relatively idiot-proof things. But honestly, IKEA, I tweeted this out. If they'd spent like a couple $100 and a few more hours just labeling things, right? And they don't need to use, the English alphabet. They could literally use the IKEA could create their own alphabet to strictly for uh, you know, labeling purposes. They really could. So that they could tell you, put, put board 1 with board 2 and face this direction. It wouldn't say 1 and 2. It would say something else, whatever IKEA language they've made up for their labeling system. Fuck, use Klingon for Christ's sakes. It's a completely superfluous language. Doesn't mean anything. It has, but it is a language. It's a legit language with symbols and letters. So use that. What a stupid thing to say. IKEA should use Klingon to label pieces. Oh boy, you're an idiot, and this show's terrible. I had like I had like a handful of other things that I kind of wanted to talk about, but it's just shit that I don't really want to talk about because I don't want to talk about serious shit. Like I was going to talk about religion. I was going to talk about religion, and how I fucking hate it. I was going to talk about corporate entities, the oligarchy, if you will, and I was going to talk about that, but that's annoying. Like gas prices, we was going to talk about that too, and you know, I would hope that no one's tuning into this fucking stupid shit to hear serious takes from a dumb person. um, but before I do move on, so I had an interview yesterday for a cannabis company, and I think the interview went well. So I'm looking forward to hopefully hearing back some positive things. So keep me in your thoughts. Please don't pray for me; it doesn't work. But in your thoughts, that it goes well. Fingers crossed. However, I'm also hosting a trivia night now. Damien's Pub, Hanson, Massachusetts. You should come out if you want to join in the fun. Damien's has great pizza. They have good beer. They have good food. It's a small place, but we'll have a good time. So please check it out. I am also more or less starting my own business where I'm going to be an independent travel consultant. So essentially, I'm going to be not so much selling travel, but kind of selling travel, I guess. So I'm going to be affiliated with AAA, so it's pretty cool. Looking forward to getting started. I've started a little bit. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, it'll be somewhat solidified, and I could talk about a little bit more. But if you're looking to go on vacation, I would ask, hey, reach out. let's talk. I'm going to have a legit business. It's it's filed with the federal government. I have my own employee identification number. It's a legitimate LLC in the eyes of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So hopefully, as time progresses, it'll get a bit more serious once I really hit the ground running. Going to try to do, hopefully different things. I mean, the idea of being like a niche travel person is kind of weird, but this is not a get rich venture by any stretch. It's a supplementary type of thing that, you have fun with, you enjoy, if you, and hopefully, get some discounts down the road for my own trips. That's the idea. But the main idea is to help clients build vacations, build, I love to travel so much. And then the idea is to kind of pass those good feelings and that love of travel on to other people. This was definitely not part of my script this week. But I'm glad that I brought that up because, yeah, hopefully I'll start recording some ads and put the ads in there too. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. So that's that, huh? As it is Thursday, it is time for everyone's favorite part of the show, the end. And 3 gripes. Yeah. All right. Sometimes gripes are easy. Other times gripes are not easy because, if I'm not really adding gripes to my list of goodies every so often, it becomes a little difficult. But sometimes I will come up with stuff that I think is very funny, and quite frankly, I don't care if anybody else doesn't, but whatever. So there are a couple in here that are they're not good, but whatever. Actually, I don't think any of them are good this week. One of them is kind of good, but not really. Number 1, information. Information. Like, what a stupid thing to say. There's simply too much information. Now, hear me out, okay? I'm sure I'll lose all of you with this, but I think I have an idea of what I'm trying to say, but I'm probably not going to say it correctly. We live in a time where absolutes are suddenly dangerously low, all right? So facts are not facts anymore. It's just another piece of information. Because if you look hard enough, there's dissent for anything and everything. If you say some of the sky is blue, they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's actually cyan." And it's turning all of us. I mean, I've already been a sniveling asshole, but it's turning more people into sniveling assholes. When the answer to literally everything is constantly at your fingertips, it just makes things worse, right? Because it makes everybody a fucking know-it-all. And I think that's a problem. Now, it's an unfixable problem, really. Think about it. It's not as if you're going to be like, turn off the internet. Turn off Google. Nobody can use it anymore. Which is, honestly, I say that, but it's probably coming. JD Vance. If you're not familiar with JD Vance, oh boy. JD Vance is a fucking piece of shit. He's running for Senate in Ohio, and he wants to eliminate all porn, okay? Here's the thing. It's not so much that I'm like, a huge porn guy. It's not so much that. It's the access to porn. He wants to ban all porn. And what he's trying to do is make that a first step to just literally banning anything that he doesn't care for. So eventually it's going to be porn and booze, drugs, weed, information. It's coming. Don't act like it isn't, because it's coming. It's going to be a problem where someone's going to come out and say, "Oh, we should ban Google. We don't want citizens to know shit." Because that's how this fucking country operates. It's fucking stupid. And because of the vast amounts of information, you would think that it would lead to a more educated citizenry. However, most of the quote information, end quote, on the internet is trash. Manipulated trash to fit various arguments. So that's my point. And see where the JD Vance thing just that kind of popped into my head and really has very little to do with the actual gripe, but still, there's too much information. It'll never change. It's just going to be more and more and more and more and more. Unless, of course, JD Vance and his ilk have it their way and just fucking flip the switch on Google and be like, we're turning it off. Click. Done. We're trying to be hungry, which is a nut. Oof. Oof, boy. See, I opened a can of worms there. I didn't want to do that. Do yourself a favor. If you're not familiar with Hungary, the country, and their embrace of the American right, please look into it. It's gross. Gripe number 2, Pat Riley. Pat Riley, senior executive of the Miami Heat. I don't know if that's his actual title. Quite frankly, I don't care because, it's my gripe. What are we calling him? Team president of the Miami Heat since 1995. I'm tired of Pat Riley. I found his whole shtick to be a bit much, going all the way back to the early 80s when he was with the Lakers. But this past series, Celtics vs. Heat, really solidified my stance. The thing that really jumped out at me is why was he wearing a mask at TD Garden, but not in fucking Miami? Why? Why? I need to fucking know why. There was no mask mandate at TD Garden. None. He was sitting in the stands. Yet when he's in Miami, he's not wearing a fucking mask, sitting in generally the same area as he was in Boston. It's totally backward thinking. He's in Boston. And he's wearing a mask like he's frightened of a mostly vaccinated crowd. Unlike in fucking Miami. It drove me fucking bananas. And I cannot find anything about why. And I need to know why. If you've heard about, why he was wearing a mask in Boston and not Miami, I need to know. 617-657-4736. Call in, leave a voicemail, tell me why. I need to know why. Moreover, right, he is worshipped in various NBA circles. And look, he's done a great job building teams in different eras. So, for that, he should be applauded. But anything more than that, slow down. I just don't understand why the media has to drop to its knees in reverence to this man. It doesn't make any sense to me. He has been very, very lucky throughout the course of his career, especially since 95 with Miami. Prior to that, with the Knicks, couldn't beat Michael Jordan. So, and then he couldn't beat the Knicks for the first few years when he went to Miami. But couldn't beat the Knicks. Beat the Celtics a couple times. So good for you, buddy. Nicely done. You did a good job. And look, this is not to say that he's not, a good coach or a good executive. That's not true. But he's been very lucky. He managed to fleece the Charlotte Hornets out of Alonzo Mourning. I'm pretty sure it was a sign and trade. I'm not 100% sure. But all he did was move Glenn Rice, who was an all-star, with a bunch of scabs and a couple draft picks for a Hall of Fame player in Alonzo Mourning. Nicely done. Drafted Dwayne Wade at number 5. Miami had the 5th pick in an absurdly top-heavy draft in 2003. And I think I'm being generous by saying absurdly top-heavy. Apparently, there's a story that just came out where he was flip-flopping between Dwayne Wade and Chris Kaman, who is a tall, milky white center. I mean, he was literally flipped. Now, look, I'm not an NBA executive, but I could have told you the difference between Wade and Chris Kaman was probably night and day, literally and figuratively. Then he fleeced the Lakers out of Shaq. He inherited a very good employee in Eric Spoelstra. Spoelstra was hired by the team prior to Pat Riley getting to Miami. He was hired as like a video guy. Why was he hired, you may ask? So I looked into like what Eric Spoelstra did before he was the coach of the Heat or was with the Heat. The guy was basically, he was packing boxes at a Nike factory up in Oregon, and then went to play basketball for a Bundesliga team in Germany. But come to find out, and I didn't know this, Eric Spoelstra's dad was in the NBA for a long time. He was an executive for 20 plus years with a couple of different teams, with the Nets, with the Blazers, and for a minute and a half with the Nuggets. So he had a connection. So, I mean, the only reason that he got this job was because he was a youth coach in Germany and his dad was an NBA executive. So, fucking, there you go. Then he convinced LeBron James and Chris Bosh that Miami wasn't a sinking shithole and that they should come and play with Dwayne Wade. Managed to do that. So good on you. Then he told Ray Allen that he could have revenge against the Celtics. And then he took advantage of COVID and got the Heat to the finals while inside a hermetically sealed environment. All these great accomplishments for Pat Riley. Now, look, again, he's fine. Good coach, good executive, but to deify him makes no sense to me, especially with a horseshoe up his ass. Not to mention the fucking suits, the fucking hair, the fucking lousy books, all of it. I'm all set. Done with Pat Riley. Gripe number 3, zits. Listen, I'm fucking 44 years old. And my greasy ass Portuguese skin is still wreaking havoc. I've got one on my forehead as we speak that is essentially a third eye. Now, my diet for the last week and a half probably isn't helping. Prior to that, I kind of cut weight a little bit to mostly fit into a suit a couple weeks back, and then just said fuck it the very next day. The day the wedding was over, the day after the wedding, I should say, I was like, oh, fuck it. I said to my wife, I'm like, all right, I'm going to eat fucking shitty food all day. And then I proceeded to eat shitty food every day for a week and a half. Anyway, why do I still have to fucking deal with this shit? Why? Like, am I not done with puberty? Why am I still breaking out? This is bullshit. Yeah, I said earlier, it's been 27 years since grade school, yet somehow my skin has not improved. So seriously, fuck you, Zits. That makes me laugh. I don't care if it doesn't make you laugh. All right, that's it for the program. Thank you so much, as always, for listening. I ask you, as always, to tell your friends, tell your moms. Go to the Instagram page at ComplaintsPod. Go to the Twitter page, which is the active social media page for the show, is at ComplaintsPod. I do have a Facebook page, but fuck Facebook. I have a YouTube page that I don't use. I have a Twitch page that I can't figure out. And I have a TikTok page that I haven't done anything with. You can call in to the show, 617-657-4736. Leave a voicemail. Have a complaint. I know you have a complaint because everyone complains. So I'm asking nicely. Again, if you've never called the show, now would be a good time to do it because the summer is going to be interesting. Hopefully I'm going to be busy. A lot going on. Fingers crossed. We'll see. As of right now, I'm still doing the show to be released on Thursdays. That could change. I said that before, how I thought it would change to Fridays. It hasn't yet. Mainly because I have plenty of time during the day. So it works out fucking great. If you're in the area, Wednesday nights, Hanson, Massachusetts, Damien's Pub, the 5-star dive bar, as he calls it. Come check it out. The pizza's good. It is. It's good. Beer is cold. Pizza's good. He always has some fucking wacky ass specials. So come by, check it out. Be a good time. I say this because I will not be there next week. So the 8th, I will not be there. I'm going to see Paul McCartney at fucking Fenway Park. Looking forward to the show. Can't wait for the show. I've never seen this. Will be my first Beatles show, so I'm very much looking forward to it. I had to do it before, they all got really old and stopped touring. 2 of them are dead. The other 2 keep playing shows. One of them is Ringo. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. But listen, as always, I thank you for checking this out, tolerating this crap. If you want to be on the show, let me know. Love to have you. If you're at all interested in anything, we'll talk. Like I said, I say this. I've said this at the end of like the last 4 shows, is that I hope to have another guest next week. But as of right now, I don't. I might. I don't know. We'll see. But as of right now, I don't. So, thank you very much. It is so very much appreciated. And again, please tell your friends, tell your moms. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta-ta.